I'm Christine Persichetti with this Currents News update. An eye-popping new study showing just how many people on the planet have already been impacted by climate change, underscoring a plea by Pope Francis to world leaders to act now to save the planet. Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports it's all coming ahead of a global climate summit later this month.
Every year, environmental factors take the lives of around 13 million people, and at least 85% of the global population has experienced weather events made worse by climate change. And the Catholic Church is at the forefront of promoting carbon neutrality and the fight against global warming.
È una sfida impegnativa e complessa, ma l'umanità ha I mezzi per affrontare questa trasformazione che richiede una vera e propria conversione interiore e la ferma volontà di intraprenderla.
Carbon neutrality, or net zero, refers to the balance between the amount of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases put into the atmosphere and the amount taken out. Pope Francis and world leaders say achieving carbon neutrality by the year 2050 is essential to prevent an increase in global temperature. Pope Francis said to get there, leaders need to show solidarity.
Siamo di fronte infatti a un'importante sfida educativa, perché ogni cambiamento ha bisogno di un cammino educativo per far maturare una nuova solidarietà universale e una società più accogliente.
In his second encyclical, Laudato Si', Pope Francis encourages not only world leaders, but Catholics and people everywhere to take swift action on climate change. The 26th UN Climate Change Conference, or COP26, is scheduled to be held in Glasgow, Scotland, from October 31st to November 12th. Leaders from around the world plan to attend, including President Biden. Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
The Vatican now releasing video of a meeting between Pope Francis and U.S. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi on Saturday.
Che ho firmato oggi per lei.
That he signed personally for you.
Ah.
This meeting taking place one day after she spoke at Italy's parliamentary meeting on climate change. Pelosi, who is Catholic, calling the encounter with Pope Francis overwhelming. She gave him some gifts and beseeched him, quote, "Francis, with respect and love, please pray for us." And a frightening moment for Speaker Pelosi while in Rome. Her office now revealing that she and her husband had to be escorted out of Mass on Saturday for their safety because of these anti-vax protests outside St. Patrick's Church that quickly turned violent. Police pulled tear gas and batons on the protesters. It's unclear how many protesters were hurt, but authorities are reporting dozens of officers were injured. 12 people were arrested. Here in the Big Apple, people who are against the vaccines just got a big win. A federal judge ruling Tuesday New York must continue to allow healthcare workers to seek religious exemptions. This as a lawsuit challenging the state vaccine requirement goes forward. Meanwhile, a different federal judge ruled against New York City public school teachers on Tuesday, declining to block enforcement of the city's vaccine mandate. Pope Francis has long been an advocate for getting the vaccine. At the Vatican, employees must either get a shot or a negative COVID test, and no religious exemptions are being allowed for Catholics. The pontiff himself has been spreading the good word about the shot, taking part in this vaccine campaign for the United States and Latin America.
Vacunarse es un modo sencillo pero profundo de promover el bien común y de cuidarnos unos a otros, especialmente los más vulnerables.
Meanwhile, the Pope's representative to the United States is staying in his post. Archbishop PIERRE confirming that despite the fact that he turned 75, the official retirement age for clergy, Pope Francis has asked him to keep working. Among the responsibilities the papal nuncio will be taking on is preparing the Holy See for President Joe Biden's upcoming Vatican visit and helping the bishops in their current synod process here in the United States. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops is praising the recent increase in the refugee cap. It's now at 125,000, the highest level since 1993. In a statement, the Bishops' Committee on Migration commended the Biden administration on the move, saying, "We look forward to continued action in support of this goal. We also urge Congress to provide the resources necessary to not only rebuild the refugee admissions program, but to sustain it for the next 4 decades and beyond." Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio is a leader on migration. We'll discuss the impact of his work this Friday during a special edition of Currents News, where you will hear from both Bishop DiMarzio and those who have known him best over the years. Here's a look.
I think his legacy is going to be one of saying that he did a good job. He can look around the diocese and see what I like to call his fingerprints all over all kinds of things, you know, difficult ones and beautiful ones.
Be sure to join us for a special look back at Bishop DiMarzio's life and legacy here in the Diocese of Immigrants. That's this Friday on Currents News. It's been 2 months since the U.S. wrapped up evacuation efforts in Afghanistan, and lawmakers are still trying to rescue people from the Taliban-controlled country. With the Taliban seeking to punish anyone with ties to Americans, the State Department has now created a team across agencies to help evacuate the direct relatives of American military service members, as well as other vulnerable Afghans. After a year-and-a-half wait, the world's oldest and most storied annual marathon returned to the streets of Boston Monday. Our friend Chris NIKIC competed in the race and finished with a time of 6 hours, 1 minute, and 22 seconds.
Such an amazing day. I mean, when I tackled those hills, it was tough, but I knew that I could make it.
Last year, Chris, who had to use a walker as a young child, became the first athlete with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman triathlon. He's set to run the New York City Marathon on November 3rd. Good luck to him. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news.